The soft glow of the restaurant lights did little to calm Sarah's fluttery heart. Tonight was supposed to be a fresh start, a brave leap back into the world of dating after years focused solely on her little one. She adjusted her simple dress, a hand-me-down that still looked nice, and smiled politely as Mark, her blind date, finally arrived. He barely offered a greeting, his eyes scanning the menu with an air of boredom. Sarah tried to make conversation, asking about his day, but his answers were short, almost like he didn't want to talk. She ordered a small salad, trying to be careful with money, and Mark ordered a big steak. As their food came, Sarah felt a growing unease. Mark picked at his meal, barely looking at her. Then, halfway through dinner, he suddenly pushed his plate away. "This isn't working," he grumbled, pulling out his wallet. He tossed a crumpled $7 bill onto the table, barely enough for her salad, let alone his expensive meal. "Good luck with the bill," he said with a smirk, then stood up and walked out of the restaurant without another word, leaving Sarah stunned and alone at the table. Her cheeks burned with a mix of shock and embarrassment. The clatter of forks and gentle hum of conversation around her seemed to mock Sarah's sudden quiet. Her mind raced, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Mark was gone, and he had left her with a $7 bill for a meal that cost much, much more. A cold dread seeped into her stomach. How could she pay for this? She had barely enough money for bus fare home, let alone a full restaurant bill. Her savings were for her child's school supplies, not for rude dates. Sarah felt a wave of shame wash over her. People at other tables were laughing and talking, but she felt everyone's eyes on her, even though they probably weren't. She imagined them whispering, "Look at that poor woman, left alone." She wished the floor would open up and swallow her whole. Her hands trembled slightly as she picked up the $7, feeling the rough paper. It felt so small, so useless. She looked at her half-eaten salad, suddenly losing all hunger. The thought of facing the waiter, of admitting her predicament, made her chest tighten. What would she say? How could she explain that her date had abandoned her and stuck her with the bill? The idea of washing dishes to pay for it even crossed her mind, a desperate, humiliating thought. Across the room, at a quieter, more elegant table, sat Mr. Harrison. He was a man of great wealth and power, the CEO of a very successful company. But tonight, he was simply enjoying a quiet dinner alone. He had been watching the couple at Sarah's table from the moment they arrived. He noticed the date's coldness, the way he barely looked at Sarah, and how Sarah tried so hard to be kind. When Mark slammed the $7 on the table and stormed off, Mr. Harrison's brow furrowed. He saw the shock on Sarah's face, the sudden slump of her shoulders, and the way she gripped the tiny sum of money. He had seen many things in his life, but true unkindness always bothered him. It was clear this young woman was in a tough spot. Her embarrassment was almost a physical thing, hanging in the air around her. He saw her glance nervously at the waiter, then at her plate, her face turning a soft pink. Mr. Harrison felt a pang of sympathy. He could tell she was a good person, just trying to make the best of a bad situation. He watched her for a few more moments, a plan already forming in his mind. He couldn't just sit there and let her suffer such a humiliation. Sarah sat frozen for a long moment, the small amount of money feeling hot in her palm. Her heart thumped hard against her ribs. She saw the waiter, a kind-looking young man, heading her way. Her breath caught in her throat. This was it. She had to tell him. As he approached, a polite smile on his face, Sarah forced herself to look up. "Everything all right, ma'am?" he asked gently, noticing the untouched food in the lone diner. Sarah's voice came out as a shaky whisper. Yes, well, no, not really," she stammered, feeling her cheeks glow crimson. She swallowed hard, trying to find the right words. "My date, he left," she managed, gesturing vaguely at the empty chair. "And he only left this." She pushed the $7 bill forward, her hand trembling slightly. The waiter looked at the small amount, then at the empty seat, a flicker of understanding passing over his face. Sarah's embarrassment grew with each passing second. She felt a burning sensation in her eyes, close to tears. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I don't have enough to pay for everything." It was the most humiliating moment of her life. She wished she could just disappear. As Sarah's whispered apologies hung in the air, a quiet signal passed between Mr. Harrison and the waiter. Mr. Harrison had already caught the waiter's eye, making a subtle gesture towards Sarah's table. Now, as the waiter looked worriedly at Sarah and the paltry $7, Mr. Harrison nodded almost imperceptibly. The waiter understood at once. He excused himself from Sarah's table for a moment, walking swiftly over to Mr. Harrison. "The lady's bill, and a little extra for her ride home," Mr. Harrison said softly, handing over a crisp $50 bill and a 20. He made sure to speak quietly so Sarah couldn't hear. "Please tell her it's taken care of, but don't say who paid. Just say it's a kind gesture." The waiter, a seasoned professional, simply nodded, appreciating the discreet kindness. He knew how much a gesture like this could mean. Mr. Harrison watched as the waiter returned to Sarah's table, a small, knowing smile playing on his lips. He felt a sense of quiet satisfaction, knowing he had eased her burden without drawing attention to himself. He just hoped Sarah would accept the unexpected help. The waiter returned to Sarah's table, a gentle smile now replacing his worried look. Sarah braced herself for his response, her heart still pounding. She expected a lecture, or perhaps a suggestion to speak with the manager. Instead, he simply picked up the $7 she had offered. "Ma'am," he said kindly, "it seems your bill has been taken care of." Sarah's eyes widened. "What? By whom?" she asked, her voice filled with disbelief. She looked around the restaurant, but no one seemed to be paying her any special attention. The waiter just smiled. "A kind gesture from another diner, ma'am." And, he added, pushing a folded $20 bill towards her, "They also left this for your ride home." Sarah stared at the money, then back at the waiter, completely stunned. Her embarrassment slowly gave way to a powerful wave of relief and gratitude. Who could have done such a wonderful thing? A warmth spread through her chest, chasing away the cold dread. Tears pricked her eyes, but these were tears of unexpected happiness. "Oh," she breathed, picking up the $20. "Thank you. Please, thank them for me. So much." She didn't know who her secret helper was, but she felt a deep thankfulness. It was like a ray of sunshine breaking through a very dark cloud. The memory of the restaurant, both the bad and the good, stayed with Sarah, but life had to go on. A few days later, dressed in her best, albeit worn, suit, Sarah nervously walked into a gleaming skyscraper. She had an interview for an administrative assistant position at Harrison Enterprises, a huge company everyone talked about. This job could change everything for her and her child. Taking a deep breath, she checked in at the front desk and was directed to a fancy office on an upper floor. When the door opened, a polite secretary led her into a spacious room with a large, polished desk. Sitting behind it, looking calm and powerful, was a man who made Sarah stop in her tracks. Her heart did a little flip. It was him, the man from the restaurant, the one she had seen sitting alone at the elegant table. Her mind raced, trying to put the pieces together. Could he be the kind stranger? No, that was too much of a coincidence. But there was no mistaking his face. He looked up, a faint smile touching his lips as he recognized her too. "Welcome, Sarah," Mr. Harrison said, his voice warm. Sarah could only stare, completely dumbfounded. The CEO of this massive company was her secret helper. Sarah's mind was reeling. She had prepared for questions about her work experience, her skills, her goals. She had not prepared to meet her secret benefactor, the man who had seen her at her lowest and offered kindness without a word. Mr. Harrison, however, seemed perfectly at ease. He watched her with a calm, knowing look. He remembered her clear eyes, the way she had tried to hold her head high even as her date behaved so poorly. He remembered the quiet dignity with which she faced her embarrassment. "Please, have a seat, Sarah," Mr. Harrison said, gesturing to the chair opposite his desk. His voice was gentle, not the booming tone she might expect from a powerful CEO. Sarah slowly sat down, her cheeks still warm. "I believe we've met before, in a less formal setting," he continued, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "I must say, I was very impressed by your composure the other night." He saw not just a job candidate, but a woman of quiet strength. Her brave face when her date left, her honest struggle with the waiter, these things spoke volumes. He saw a good heart, a person who deserved a chance, not just a handout. This was more than just an interview now. It was a chance to help someone truly deserving. The interview that followed was unlike any Sarah had ever experienced. Mr. Harrison didn't just ask about her resume. He talked to her about life, about challenges, and about her hopes for the future. Sarah, still slightly in awe, found herself opening up, sharing her dreams for her child and her desire for a stable, meaningful job. Mr. Harrison listened carefully, his eyes warm and understanding. By the end, he didn't just offer her a job. He offered her a position that truly fit her skills, with a good salary and benefits, something that would make a huge difference in her life. "Welcome to Harrison Enterprises, Sarah," he said, extending his hand with a genuine smile. Sarah's hand shook a little as she shook his, tears welling up in her eyes. "Thank you, Mr. Harrison," she managed, her voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for everything." As Sarah began her new job, she found herself talking to Mr. Harrison more often than she expected. He wasn't just her boss. He took a genuine interest in her well-being. They'd chat about work, then about books, or ideas, or even funny things from their day. Little by little, a comfortable friendship began to grow between them. Sarah found herself looking forward to their talks, realizing he was much more than just a rich CEO. As weeks turned into months, Sarah's initial awe of Mr. Harrison began to change into something deeper, a genuine respect and fondness. She saw him not just as the powerful CEO, but as a man of great character. He wasn't flashy with his wealth. Instead, he used it to help others, supporting charities and treating all his employees with respect. Sarah noticed how he always remembered small details about people, how he offered thoughtful advice, and how he never seemed too busy for a kind word. One afternoon, during a casual chat, he told her about a project he was funding to build a new library for children in a poor neighborhood. His eyes lit up when he spoke of the kids who would benefit. Sarah realized then that his kindness at the restaurant wasn't just a one-time thing. It was simply who he was. He was truly a good person, warm and gentle, with a big heart. He cared about making the world a better place, not just about making money. This made him even more special in Sarah's eyes. She found herself admiring him more and more, seeing past his important title to the kind and caring man underneath. Their friendship deepened, and soon, their conversations moved beyond the office. Mr. Harrison suggested they grab coffee sometime, then a casual lunch. These outings were always light and fun, filled with laughter and easy talk. Sarah felt completely comfortable with him, something she hadn't felt with anyone in a very long time. She found herself sharing stories about her child, Lily, and Mr. Harrison listened with genuine interest. One sunny Saturday, Mr. Harrison invited Sarah and Lily to a local park for a picnic. Sarah was a little nervous about him meeting her daughter, but Lily, a bright and cheerful 6-year-old, instantly took to him. Mr. Harrison was wonderful with her. He pushed her on the swings, played catch, and even helped her build a towering sandcastle. He wasn't stiff or distant. He was warm and playful. Lily giggled and chattered, completely at ease. Sarah watched them, her heart swelling with happiness. Seeing Mr. Harrison interact so kindly with Lily, treating her with such gentle care, melted any remaining doubts in Sarah's heart. A sweet, unexpected bond began to form between the kind CEO and the little girl, a bond that warmed Sarah's soul. After the picnic, something shifted between Sarah and Mr. Harrison. Their friendly chats started to feel a little different, a little more special. Sarah found herself thinking about him even when she wasn't at work, wondering what he was doing, smiling at a funny thing he had said. Her heart would beat a little faster when he walked into the room, and she noticed the way his eyes would linger on her, a soft warmth in their depths. Mr. Harrison, too, felt a change. He admired Sarah's strength, her kind spirit, and her devotion to Lily. He found joy in making her laugh and comfort in her presence. He realized he wasn't just enjoying her company as a friend. He was starting to feel something much deeper. He loved seeing her smile, and he found himself wanting to protect her and make her happy. During their next outing, a quiet dinner after Lily was asleep, the air between them was filled with unspoken feelings. A gentle touch of hands across the table, a shared look that lasted a little too long. These small moments told them both that their connection was growing into something more than just friendship. They were falling for each other. One evening, under the soft glow of streetlights, after dropping Lily off at her grandmother's, Mr. Harrison and Sarah took a slow walk through a quiet park. The air was cool, and the silence between them was comfortable, yet filled with a gentle tension. Sarah's heart fluttered as Mr. Harrison stopped, turning to face her. He took her hands in his his gaze warm and steady. "Sarah," he began, his voice soft but clear, "I've grown to care for you very deeply. More than just a friend, more than just an employee." He paused, looking into her eyes. "I admire your strength, your kindness, and the wonderful mother you are to Lily. You light up my world." Sarah's breath hitched, her own feelings mirroring his words. "I want to be more than just someone who helps you at work or plays with your daughter at the park," he continued, a tender smile on his face. "I want to be a part of your life, and Lily's life, in every way that matters. I like you very much, Sarah, and I want to build a future with you and your child." His words were like a warm blanket, wrapping around her heart. It was everything she had secretly hoped for. Sarah looked at Mr. Harrison, her heart overflowing with a mix of surprise, joy, and deep love. His words were everything she had longed to hear, a promise of a future she had only dared to dream of. The memory of that terrible blind date, of being left alone with nothing but $7 and a burning shame, felt like a lifetime ago. Now, standing before her was a man who saw her worth, who cherished her, and who loved her child. A wide, radiant smile spread across Sarah's face, tears of happiness welling in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly with emotion. "Yes, Mr. Harrison. 1,000 times, yes." She squeezed his hands, feeling the warmth of his touch. In that moment, all the past hardships, the struggles, and the lonely nights faded away. She felt a profound sense of peace and happiness she hadn't known was possible. Her life, which had once felt so uncertain and challenging, now seemed bright and full of wonderful possibilities. She knew, without a doubt, that saying yes to Mr. Harrison was the best decision she could ever make. Her journey had taken an unexpected turn, leading her to a love she truly deserved. And so, Sarah's life blossomed in ways she never imagined possible. The simple yes in the park led to a beautiful journey. Mr. Harrison proved to be an even more loving and devoted partner than she could have dreamed. He was not only kind to her, but also became a wonderful father figure to Lily. He loved watching Lily grow, helping her with homework and playing games with her, just as he had at the park. Lily adored him, calling him her favorite Mr. Happy. Their home, once just Sarah and Lily's cozy apartment, transformed into a warm and joyful space filled with laughter, love, and the presence of a complete family. They shared everyday moments, big holidays, and quiet evenings, always together. Sarah learned that true happiness wasn't about fancy things, but about having people who love and care for you. Her story became a beautiful reminder that even the worst beginnings, like being abandoned on a blind date with only $7, can lead to the most wonderful new starts. It showed everyone that if you keep your heart open, good things can truly happen, bringing unexpected joy and a loving family into your life.